The Raiders are in a really interesting spot. I'm kind of conflicted because I was one of those people preseason that I'm like, okay, Josh McDaniels, probably an upgraded head coach, right? But I don't know why they fired Rich Bisaccia, because under the circumstances last season, there were so many things the Raiders had to overcome. And not only did they play well as a team, they played so far above expectations, and they won games under Rich Bisaccia as the interim head coach. They got to the playoffs against all odds, and they lost by a touchdown to the team that would end up going to the Super Bowl in the Bengals. So I don't know how you fire Rich Bisaccia at that point. It feels like maybe you found, a diamond in the rough, and then they got better in the offseason. They picked up two of the guys on the screen right here in Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones, and they're starting out 0-3. It is only 3 games, but starting out 0-3 in what should be a pretty good division does not bode well for the Raiders. So we're going to take over, and yes, this season in rebuild land might not go all that well, but we're going to try and make them a Super Bowl team over the course of this thing. Let's jump in. So this is the squad. Josh Jacobs spawning in with a point. Okay, we'll get him up to an 87 overall. It's an interesting offense. You definitely have some top-tier playmakers. Devontae Adams is, without question, one of the best receivers, if not the best in the league. Darren Waller is certainly a top 3 to 5 tight end, no question. Probably would have Travis Kelce and George Kittle over him, and then he and Mark Andrews. It just kind of depends what you want, but both great receiving options at tight end. Hunter Renfrow, awesome slot receiver. Outside of that, I know Mac Hollins had a really great week. Can't explain that one, but we do need an upgrade at receiver overall, I would say. Getting a good third option in there. The offensive line has, I think, played better than I expected, but of course in Madden, I'm looking to make improvements. Donald Parham could be the right guard of the future. Just a rookie. Just say, go start, have fun. Brandon Parker, Andre James, maybe Andre James sticks around. Maybe John Simpson. I don't know. A lot of maybes with this group outside of Colton Miller. Foster Moreau, probably good enough just for my second tight end. Don't need to do a whole lot better than that. And then defensively, Trayvon Merrick will start over Rutgers legend Duron Harmon. Sorry, Duron, but Merrick, when healthy, is the starter, obviously. He is a really good young player. He was a good safety out of TCU, too. I don't really think you could have gone wrong with the safeties in that class at the top. It's, some like Trayvon Merrick, some like Javon Holland. I like both. They were both really, really good players, of course, and Raiders ended up with Merrick, and I can't blame them. Chandler Jones, they got Jayon Brown as well. Denzel Perryman feels like too high of an overall, maybe, but I guess he is playing up too. Max Crosby is one of the best edge rushers in the league as well. Probably should be at least superstar dev, right? Seems weird that he's not. Jonathan Abram in here. Probably will end up upgrading on him. And then at corner, we have some of the problems from last year. Nate Hobbs, he got into some off-the-field stuff, but was unbelievable when he was on the field and not getting charged with a DUI. But he was really, really good as a rookie. And, I think we'll continue to keep him around. Obviously, if you're a Raiders fan, you know about him in the slot. But in Madden, he'll probably play on the outside. Not really going to play Anthony Avert over him. He is up to star dev, by the way. Rocky Scene they traded for. And then on the D-line, they brought in Bilal Nichols. And, of course, have Jonathan Hankins. And I don't know how Matthew Butler is starting here. He was okay at Tennessee. Obviously good enough to get drafted. He was, a 3rd round pick? 5th round, even lower than I thought. Cleveland Ferrell in here. I thought he would be a lot better coming out of the draft. His burst off the line was so elite. And he just never ended up developing as a pass rusher. And I disappointed about that because he was a lot of fun at Clemson. And I'm sure, of course, if you're a Raiders fan watching this, you're disappointed as well. How could you not be? But we'll simulate to the midseason mark. Actually, you know what I'll do? Is I'll start them off with 3 losses just the way it happened. So what you can do in Madden is force win. This will be the first time that I've done it, but I think it's going to be pretty helpful here. So we'll do force home win at Chargers, force away win, and then force home win. So this will make the Raiders start 0-3, and then we'll address things at the midseason mark. So it ends up being a very bad start for the Raiders, 1-5. I think they're going to figure it out. Ended up beating the Broncos by a field goal. That was the lone win of the season, and losing the Texans, and losing, I would say, convincingly, is not good. Who's going to be a free agent for us? Josh Jacobs, somewhat of a tough decision maybe, but I do want to bring him back. Only 24 years old, pretty high rated running back, and it's just good in real life. The blocking has not been there for him, or at least was not last year. Perriman, probably not. Rocky Scene, I do want to bring back, and there's mutual interest there. Jonathan Abram would work as a backup or somebody that I'm trying to upgrade on. I guess he could start, wouldn't be the worst thing. Jayon Brown, Anthony Averett, I'd like to bring back as well. Foster Moreau's a free agent. A lot of these guys I'm probably not going to bring back, but let's go ahead and see who we are going to bring back. Josh Jacobs wants more money. Okay. Dude, see, it's so funny you get a guy with max interest, you try to take down the money a little bit, and they go, no way I'm signing that. How are you that interested in the team? Jayon Brown is fairly cheap. We'll give him a 2-year deal to return. Anthony Averett, same deal, 2-year deal, or same type of thing, not the exact same actual deal. I am looking to upgrade at corner at some point. The rest of these guys I'm not super interested in. I don't want to do a 4-year deal for Jonathan Abram. That's kind of the problem. I would do a 2-year deal and up the money to make that a little bit. You're not considering shorter deals at the moment? Well, at the moment, I'm not considering giving you a longer deal. So Abram probably going to test free agency. And we really didn't bring back as many players as I was expecting at all. Okay, we're trading Jonathan Abram, who's not going to get re-signed. Denzel Perryman, who I'm not re-signing. We're 1-5, not competing for a playoff spot this year. I'm also trading a 4th-round pick to get it done. Right now, it's the Rams' 1st-round pick, so back into the 1st round, obviously, if they're expected to continue to perform well. And it's week 8, so they probably are. So I would say that it's a fairly decent deal when you figure that's probably going to be pick number 25 to 32, somewhere in that range. And we'll try and figure out where we want to upgrade in the draft. So receiver, quarterback, corner, kind of like a big 3 of positions there. And I think those kind of align with my interests. And I will say that just because we have Derek Carr does not mean that I'm going to avoid drafting a quarterback. If the right QB is there and I think we can upgrade, I'm going to do it. But at the same time, I think Derek Carr is just good enough to where I'm not actively looking for a quarterback as I scroll through the QBs here. But if I find a good one, I might jump at the opportunity. But I don't think this class is all that special. But Dalton Redmond has potential. 6'2", 193-pound corner out of Clemson. Only 21 years old with A-man coverage. Good to great speed, great to elite change of direction. I like it. Play rec is super bad. Jerry Merritt, pass rusher, could eventually replace Chandler Jones, who's getting older. He has A finesse moves with good to great speed. I'm interested. Corey Stokes is probably one of my favorite prospects so far. A to C block shedding with B finesse moves, B power moves, B tackle, good to great speed, strength. And skills, I mean, do look pretty good. Steve Stevens is his name? Hold on. What a ridiculous name. Got good to great strength. Play rec high. Block shed, finesse moves good. Steve Stevens, Hall of Fame name. Looks like he's pretty good too. Colby Roseman has A power moves, B block shed. Solid to good speed, great to elite strength. He would fit our scheme really good, really well. However, we can always change, so I wouldn't say that that's completely going to factor into the decision. Brett Mitchell looks sweet. Really great on a lot of those ratings. Only 1 T in Brett knocks him down a peg, but A awareness, A run blocking as well, and a lot of A to C. A on pass block finesse. Brett Mitchell in the mid-rounds is absolutely going to be a starting offensive lineman for me. And Brenton Hightower has potential too. I might consider drafting him in the 1st round, and I never take tackles just because they're not that great. But 6'7", 332 at 21 years old. A awareness, A impact block, B pass block, B run block with great to elite strength. And look at that head too. I mean, that's an offensive lineman head. I don't know why that's factoring in, but I can't avoid it. This tight end also looks really, really good. Skylar Lindsey, one of the whitest names I've ever seen. But I don't think I would draft a tight end that high, is the thing. So maybe one with A run block, A catching down the board. Good to great speed, great to elite strength. Glenn Bushrod, A spec catch, A catching traffic, A catching. Medium route running is not good. He's not really a great route runner in general, but there's something there. And apparently the strength of the class is receiver, which is a little bit concerning, I guess, because no one was, I would say, blowing me away. I don't know. I mean, a lot of them seem like they could be good. We'll just have to see how things develop. And I think I'll make my focus scouting, I think, wide receiver. Thought about corner, thought about some other positions too. But I think the receivers are the most intriguing to me, and I don't really know a lot about them. So just kind of made sense. And I think maybe I'll stop it at week 11 so we can do the focus players and also try to extend some of these players before we can't anymore. Some of these offensive linemen are so intriguing, though. A to C run block with A pass block power and A pass block finesse. He is pass protector type, so I would guess that his run blocking is not going to be that good. Maybe that's a waste then. I'm going to end up doing the top corner just because I want to know if I really should draft him. Knowing if his zone coverage is A or B, I think is going to make a big difference for me. And if it's C, I'll just probably avoid him altogether despite being an elite man corner. Maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. We'll see. Josh Jacobs refuses to accept anything but top dollar, which is beyond frustrating because I'm offering the medium risk contract. And with the top interest, I feel like they should be interested in accepting that. Rocky Scene's back, 3 years. I guess that's okay. And I think I'd let everybody else walk with the exception of Josh Jacobs. I'm just not super interested in any of those guys. And it's not because they're not good depth pickups or good, fillers. It's just that I don't ever see them being impact players in this franchise. So it'd just be better to save our money and use it elsewhere. Went 3-14. That is not good for the Raiders, but good for our draft pick, I guess. So there is that. Just so many losses down the stretch. Only win was against the Steelers by a field goal. Did beat the Jags quite convincingly, though. But most of these games, we lost, obviously. And a very bad showing, but year two, we can only go up from here. That's pretty much all it is. We'll go to the offseason. 2022 season recap has the Ravens beating the Bucks in the Super Bowl. Chuck Clark wins MVP, and Dak Prescott wins regular MVP, with Nathaniel Hackett Coach of the Year. I don't know about that one. Zeke, Offensive Player of the Year. Aaron Donald, Defensive Player of the Year, with John Mechie, who unfortunately is not playing in real life this year, and Sauce Gardner, Defensive Rookie of the Year with the Jets. This does seem like a Derek Carr stat line, though. 4,460 yards, 29 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Rushing, Josh Jacobs just over 1,000 yards, averaging 4.4 per carry. Like to see it. And 9 touchdowns receiving. Okay. Darren Waller and Devontae Adams both had the same exact number of yards at 1,111 and 7 touchdowns. Waller on significantly more catches. Renfro nearly put up 1,000 yards. 7 touchdowns for Keelan Cole. Interesting. And then defensively, Jayon Brown had 139 tackles, 7 of which for a loss with 1.5 sacks and a pick. Great year. Max Crosby, 21 tackles for loss, 14 for Chandler Jones, and Jonathan Hankins, 12 for Bilal Nichols, who I think is actually quite good. We like to keep him around. And then sacks, only one in double digits was indeed Max Crosby, 8.5 for Chandler Jones, and then a huge drop off to 3.5 from Bilal Nichols. Certainly need more of a pass rush, and I think it's going to impact how many turnovers we force. As you can see here, not many interceptions either. Okay, last chance to re-sign Josh Jacobs. My best offer is the medium risk. If he declines this, he declines it. He's going to test free agency. That's my best offer. Franchise tag is 1 year, 12 mil. And I'm going to do that. Josh Jacobs, franchise tagged. Teron Harmon got star dev, by the way. Please tell me the CPU did not put him as the starter again. It looks like he played a lot. Well, Trayvon Merritt got up to superstar, so I'm not even sure that I care if he wasn't the starter over Teron Harmon, which he most likely was to get superstar dev. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he did to get that, but he has it. Pretty sweet. Okay, mock draft 3. Has an off-ball linebacker going number 1 overall. His projection is round 2 to 3. I guess he moved up a lot. God dang. He's got A-man end zone, though, but for an outside linebacker, so it's probably not too high. How did he go up 71 spots to number 1? What's going on here? Really? AJ Cole has superstar development? Did he get it? I guess he had it. AJ Cole starts with superstar dev. It's interesting. Interesting is the only word I ever use. Max Crosby finally up to superstar dev. That's well earned and well deserved. Very much deserved. He's probably going to end up moving down to 4-3 defensive end for me. Just don't really like the way this defense played very much. And Chandler Jones regressed a ton. He's down to an 82. He regressed a ton. So that now becomes a major point of emphasis, replacing him, I should say. That's real bad. Jayon Brown can play off-ball. Divine Diablo will start at outside linebacker. So I'm probably looking for an off-ball linebacker in the draft. Could do with a safety. Not a whole lot of interest in coming and play for the Raiders. Seems like Tom Brady was interested at one point. You guys have followed around some of those rumors. Jimmy Ward is here. This wouldn't be awful for me. 2 years, probably a little bit more than I want. I would give him a 1-year deal worth about 10 mil. I don't think that's a bad contract. And it's going to be a choice between the Ravens and the Raiders. Evan Ingram has interest with us. No. Sterling Shepard, no. I'm not really interested in a lot of these players. Jabril Peppers is an option, but not one that I'm super interested in. That being said, though, I do need to fill in some of these spots on the roster. Derek Nottie would actually be a really good fit. I'll offer him pretty much whatever he wants. That's a player we need to get, and it seems like we should be able to get. And that's kind of all the players I want. There's not really a ton here. I really only want Derek Nottie. If we can get Jimmy Ward, fine. And it seems like we got Derek Nottie. So Jimmy Ward is going to the Ravens. Derek Nottie was really the only player I had to have there, though. I might be interested in bringing in a linebacker just to fill a spot if we have to. Denzel Perryman's here, so he didn't end up earning a contract extension for the team we traded him to, which was the Lions, so they were not interested. Rashaan Evans maybe for a year. My only concern is he's just not that interested. Perhaps Drew Tranquill. Drew Tranquill for 2 years. You probably noticed I skipped over Blake Martinez. It's not an option. And we'll see if we can bring in Drew Tranquill. I don't know why he hasn't accepted yet, but he does now. All right, so those are the 2 players I'm going to get in free agency. Interesting group, Derek Nottie and Drew Tranquill. Not amazing, but I'm not really going for, bona fide studs. Nottie could become a good player for us, but Drew Tranquill is just filling space for right now. All right, we do have private workouts, though. This is going to tell us a lot of information before the draft. The corner does have a zone coverage. Yeah, that might change things. Ran in the 4.3s as well. Could be the best player in this draft. A-hit power. I wonder if I could get away with playing him at safety. Trayvon Merrick over to strong safety, play him at free safety. It's an option. Jerry Merritt. 80%. B block shed, A pursuit, B tackle. Ended up testing very well for a rush linebacker. A finesse moves, A pursuit. Jerry Merritt would be a pretty good Chandler Jones replacement. And Brenton Hightower, I just like, man. Elite change of direction with elite strength is a pretty crazy combination. And even though I very rarely draft offensive line, Brent Hightower is someone that is pretty high on my list right now. Glenn Bushrod, great speed, elite strength. Route running, it's just not good. There are a bunch of fairly talented players in this class. I don't know that there are any absolute monsters, or maybe a couple, but just a lot of players who seem really, really good. It's going to be really tough to decide whether or not I want to trade up in the draft or just stay where we are and try to do the best we can. And, even more than that, which players to actually take. It's going to be a really tough call. I'm going to focus on these 3 off-ball linebackers supposed to go somewhere in the second round. And I think that's the best call because we need help at linebacker. Those players will be the easiest to pick. And if we can figure out the most about them before the actual draft, trade offers for Drew Tranquill. I just signed him, so no. You guys had your chance. Nobody offered him in free agency, but the reason I did the linebackers is because we will probably just end up drafting one of those guys. And we do have the #1 overall pick. I think if you've been here before, you can guess what that means. It means we're probably going to end up trading down. I kept trying to tell you guys why I chose the linebackers, but basically, Cortland McClain is a top 5 true talent. That's why we did it. That's why. Forget what I was going to say. That's the reason. Elite speed and acceleration. Skills are very, very good. This is the guy. Now, we could potentially take another as well. Percy Goodwin is only 5'11", also with elite speed and agility and change of direction. He's a cover player. Reminds me a lot of Akil Edmonds, who we took in Giants franchise. Not any particular rebuild, but the actual franchise series. Another really awesome athlete in BJ Sweeting. Really good cover player. I might double dip on linebacker. Seems like a pretty comparable player to Percy Goodwin, just doesn't quite have the same block shedding as Percy Goodwin. But Cortland McClain, we are certainly drafting without question. Dalton Redmond might be the best player in the draft, though. If I can trade down to pick 3 and still get him, I might. Oh, and the Seahawks have 2 first-round picks, one via the Broncos. That's right. If I can get this to work somehow, and I would be okay with giving them more, I'm going to go ahead and try to make a trade happen. Okay, this is going to be the final trade, or the final finished, polished trade, not maybe the final trade of the draft. Can't predict that. It's going to be number 1, and Chandler Jones. Hate to do it, but he just regressed so much. So we have to look in a different direction if we're in this rebuild. 3rd round pick, and of course, acquiring 2 ones, 3 and 23. Now, I don't really want to trade Chandler Jones because he's this big signing by the Raiders, but he's just regressing so quickly in Madden, and we're doing the rebuild in Madden, obviously. So unfortunately, it just has to be done. We're getting his contract off the books as well, and we're getting 2 first-round picks in exchange. So I know we don't have the number 1 overall pick anymore, which is okay, as they take a quarterback. But, you know, we'll see how this draft plays out. And the corner is still available at number 3. Is there anyone I have to have? Not the tight end. Jerry Merritt. That's my Chandler Jones replacement. I have to have him. Have to draft Jerry Merritt. Am I really going to prioritize another corner over bringing in Jerry Merritt, who I think is going to be really, really good? That's a tough call. Derek Carr, by the way, also regressed. Part of why I was saying it might be pretty important to bring in a quarterback at some point. Defensively, we need that pass rusher. Noddy and Nichols at defensive tackle. Crosby, pass rusher or edge rusher. I might move Nate Hobbs back to safety. I know that seems a little bit weird, but for a guy who's so good in zone coverage that can actually tackle pretty well, I think it's a pretty good fit for the team. So if I take the corner, Nate Hobbs would move to safety, and we'd have to trade up. I'm willing to do it. I like the draft philosophy of take the best player and figure out the rest of the team. That's what I'm going to do. Dalton Redmond, welcome to the Raiders. 21 years old, hidden dev, 94 speed, 90 acceleration. Change of direction is a 95. Really, really nice. This should be a really good player for us. I would consider playing him at safety as well, but it's just the A-man coverage. I feel like it would be going to waste a little bit. It was Brenton Hightower, the tackle I was considering. He went way earlier than I was expecting. I did not think he was going to be a top 5 pick, and I thought he was pretty good. But that makes my draft decision a little bit easier because that means that Jerry Merritt is the next prospect number 1 that we need to target, and he just went at number 7. Oh, man. These guys are going way earlier than I was expecting. Travis Crockett probably next, and he's good too. A finesse moves. And maybe, I think he actually even ran faster than Jerry Merritt. What did I get caught up on? Was it the B block shedding with Merritt? All right, Travis Crockett is next. He'll probably just go with the next overall pick, though, the way things are going. There goes the tight end of the Jaguars, replacing Evan Ingram. The Giants take a corner. Commanders go with Travis Crockett at Alabama. I should have known that the Commanders would take an Alabama player. It's their entire roster. Why do they need a defensive lineman? I'm getting upset. I know I should just trade up more than I think I have to or think I should. I was playing with fire on the last one. And Ben Harris is a great athlete. Is he a great quarterback? He's got A, play action, B, deep accuracy. He's got a good arm. I mean, he's going to be good. Probably won't take him. Although Tyrone Coleman's interesting. This is a deep threat receiver with B, catching traffic, B, catching. A, deep route running, ran 4.24 with elite acceleration and agility. I think this could be a blessing in disguise as long as I actually end up drafting him. How far down the board is he? 6 spots? Oh, man. Do I need him more than I need an edge rusher? Colby Roseman, B, block shed, A, power moves. Elite strength, is a pretty good athlete overall. Keep in mind, I have to trade up to get these guys. It's not just, oh, man, I can't believe you're passing on these players. I have to trade up, giving up a bunch of draft capital that I don't really have in order to get players who may or may not be good. I get that's the whole thing of the draft, but it's easier said than done to just move up, especially when there are players I like down the board. That's the biggest thing, because we have number 23 and 25, and then we have number 33, and we don't pick again until the 5th round. 33 is the outside linebacker, 100%. I need 25 and a 3 to move me up to 14. I need that to happen. It's not going to happen. I really just can't trade up to that pick. Dolphins go with the right tackle. I'm going to have to get past Philadelphia, too. They go with Colby Roseman, who is the defensive end I was really highly considering. The sad reality here is that I'm going to be unable to get a big-time pass rusher. It's just not going to happen. And I also need this center. Man, the receiver looks really, really good, really fun, but is it a vanity pick? I want this defensive tackle too, Corey Stokes. Corey Stokes looks good. Power rusher would fit the current scheme, although I was thinking about moving to a 4-3 clearly. But he's just really good. I wish I knew what his block shed was, but I never made him a focus player. But it's A to C, so at the very worst, it's going to be at least okay. And he actually goes at 16. This is an unbelievable draft. But I mean, that's the draft. It's unpredictable, and this one has been as unpredictable as I've probably ever seen. Although I will say, I don't really think there's much I can do about it. That's the problem, is because they would just have me trading up more than I can trade up. I really can't move up all that much. I don't have the draft capital to do it. It is unfortunate, but as you can see, just adding a 5th doesn't really move the needle a whole lot. It's got to be probably a future 3 might get it done. That's not quite enough. Future 3 and a 6. That gets the trade accepted. I can move up from 23 to 17. Had to give up a future 3 to do it. A little bit unfortunate, but at least we can make the most out of a bad situation, which is all of our players going way earlier than I think anyone expected. But Tyrone Coleman, legit deep threat. You can't get faster than 4.24 speed really in the game. So elite acceleration, agility, and speed. Plus, he's actually a pretty good receiver. Short route running is terrible, but I think he's going to be good for us. Only normal development does not matter. If we can put him in the slot, get him a ton of targets, get him up to star dev in a year, there's going to be no problem. He's got 98 speed. 97 acceleration, 95 agility. Change of direction is actually a little bit lower than I thought it would be. But that is that looks like it's a heck of a player. Just need his overall, of course, to be, good enough to make him play well. And now to pick number 25. This is a definite trade down spot. When you look at the actual class here and the players I'm looking at, I need Cortland McClain and I need Brett Mitchell. Those are the only 2. They're not going to go in the first round. I need another mid-round pick. Has to happen. I like the move from the Dolphins here, giving us a first next year, plus a first this year and a third. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to see it in real time. We trade down, right? Pick up a 3rd round pick, which we definitely needed. And then we'll trade this pick for a future 1 from 49ers. I don't know. Are they usually good in Sim? The Bills, for whatever reason, are sometimes not. But that's kind of a gamble. I would go 49ers and pick up a 3rd. We've seen the unpredictability of this draft. I am not messing around. Going into the favorites here, and I am taking Cortland McClain now. I'm not letting him get off the board. Top 5 talent. Does everything really, really well. Plus, he's a really good athlete. It has to be done. And he is looking pretty good. We'll see. 87 speed, 90 acceleration with hidden dev. Like to see it. Doesn't mean he has superstar X Factor because he's doing the double flex. It is completely random, I promise you. But he could have superstar X Factor. And he does have A hit power also. Cortland McClain looks amazing. Now, we don't pick again until 91 and 92 in the 3rd round. And I don't think the players I want are going to be available. So I'm going to go ahead and move up into the 2nd round. With the Bears here, oh, not even close. And I can't move back into the 2nd round unless I trade 2 3rd round picks, which I don't want to have to do. But if I want the players, I don't have much option, or I don't have much choice, I should say. And that's not even going to go through. It's going to be 2 3s and a future 6 to move up to number 62. Man, it's been an interesting and challenging draft. But that's how it goes sometimes. And we'll make the most of this pick here at the back end of the second. I think it's probably going to be the center. If the outside linebackers are still here, be an interesting challenge. There is one that's still available. Daniel Amerson, we just probably won't get. Good player, but backup tight end cannot be the priority here. BJ Sweeting, Hall of Fame name. Looks good. Looks really good. Here's what we're going to do. Even though he can't shed blocks at all, we're going to take him. It'll be good depth. Only normal dev, but again, that could go up. 87 speed, 91 acceleration, great agility and jumping. And then I'm going to use future picks to move back up for the center. Sometimes you just have to take best player available and figure out the rest, and that's what we're doing. I can't lose out on the center, though. Cannot happen. Andre James and 2 fifth-round picks is what gets it done. We get the third from Seattle. They needed a center. Andre James is good, but I think that the center that I'm going to take is better. And here he is, Brett Mitchell. A awareness, a run block, and he also has great speed, elite acceleration, agility, and change of direction, great strength. All very good signs. A pass block finesse. He's going to be, I think, better. Yeah, I would bet better than Andre James right now. Does have hidden dev. Good speed, acceleration, agility. Strength is in the 90s. That's great. Only 22 years old. 4 years younger than Andre James. We have no more draft, though. This was a crazy draft. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Draft recap. Still not looking to trade Drew Tranquil. And I would say this went very well. Got a 79 overall corner, Dalton Redmond. 76 overall for Tyson Coleman. Let's take a look. Or is he Tyrone Coleman? Dalton Redmond at 79 is great. Not a generational player, but a very good one. Actually, is better in zone coverage than man coverage, despite the man-to-man archetype that it showed, but he's actually 79 for everything. Tackles well, play rec. Yeah, really good player. Block shedding's a bit low. I could see him moving back to safety, but I think Nate Hobbs is going to be a slightly better fit. I don't know, maybe not. Dalton Redmond, yeah, maybe I'll move him back to safety. Trayvon Merrick over to strong safety, just because Redmond here is a little bit lighter. So we'll go him, free safety. And Trayvon Merrick slides over. He's an 80 overall free safety, by the way. Already a pretty nice change. Tyrone Coleman, this is our future rookie of the year. 98 speed, 97 acceleration. And the boosts are working pretty nice here. Catching traffic up to 84. A spectacular catch is an 81, but going -2. Deep route running, 82. Medium route running is so bad. But short route running is okay. Yeah, good player, but a deep threat first, without question. Cortland McClain, who's a top 5 talent, is just a 76 overall. So it's not like super amazing, but it is very good, obviously. Good tackle, great hit power, speed, acceleration. Zone coverage and man coverage are not anything special, but he's just a good, well-rounded player. BJ Sweeting's a 74 overall, which is quite good. Only normal dev. Yeah, I know that's a little bit disappointing, but 87 speed, good zone, good man for an outside linebacker. Does have swim move, spin move, bull rush, and high motor. 3 of those are pass rush skills. A little bit weird for somebody with power and finesse moves in the 50s, but I kind of feel like those are assigned randomly. And then Brett Mitchell is a 74 with hidden dev, already better than Andre James. 78 run block, 74 pass block. Run block power is a bit low, but I think obviously a very good player. Already in the top 17% of centers. He's the 19th ranked center. He hasn't even played a snap. As I expected, it's not an amazing class or anything. 80 overall for Redmond is the highest, and then it's a running back, and then another receiver, Cortland McClain in there in that top 5, then Tyrone Coleman. So we had 3 of the top 5 players ended up becoming Raiders. Now, Brenton Hightower is a player I liked. Does have hidden dev. Man, look at that meatball head. That's crazy. He's got no neck. His finesse is pretty bad in general, but I think he's pretty good. And does he have superstar dev? I would be really disappointed if he does. And he only has star. I'm not mad about it. Jerry Merritt is a 75. Does have hidden, though. He looks good. I mean, you can just tell. 85 speed, 89 acceleration, pursuit in the 80s, tackle in the 80s, finesse move, right at that 80 mark at 79 pretty much. 74 block shed, strength in the 80s. See, he only has bull rush trait. You like how my coverage outside linebacker has more pass rush traits than a legit like pass rush prospect in Jerry Merritt, who does only have star dev, by the way. Maybe we did all right. Yeah, I'm making the change to 4-3. I set my depth chart during the preseason, and now I'm gonna have to do it again. I don't know why I forgot about that. It was really just making sure Tyrone Coleman was in the slot. I need him to get Rookie of the Year. I need him to get a ton of targets because him getting up to star dev is going to make him a franchise caliber receiver. So that's what we're doing. Linebackers could definitely come a long way this year. So I'm excited to see what they can do. A couple of rookies out there that are going to be playing quite a bit. I'll show you guys what the team looks like before we start season 2 in 2023. But as you can see, we got a pretty good group of guys. Offensive line is still developing, and especially so because we're starting Justin Herron at right tackle. He's not great. Offensive line is a focus going forward. I didn't really know what was going to happen in the draft, more so than usual. And free agency, the players just weren't great. But our scheme, all these players are perfect fits. As you can see, the only one without the scheme tag, whatever it is, the scheme fit tag, is Nate Hobbs, who's good, so I don't care. And even Anthony Averett has it. So this is looking really, really good. I like the potential team chemistry. The only problem is that Malcolm Kuntz is going to start at rush right end. We don't have the pass rush. And it seems like last draft just wasn't the draft for it. Wish we would have gotten a first round this year somehow. But I'm really, really happy with how we drafted last season, despite missing on players that I thought I wanted, which I did want. But turns out I think we did better down the board. So I'm happy with it. I think we got some real-time difference makers. And we'll see if they can be those difference makers I think they can be. Nope, 2-5. All right. Give me a quarterback, dude. Strengths of this class: wide receiver, quarterback, left tackle. I need a new scout. Defensive tackle and running back. We have running back, and now we've picked up defensive tackle, or picked up defensive tackle as well. Yeah, so we don't need that. Dom Silas, improviser type. There's something here. I'm sorry, Larry Bonds is his name. Larry Bonds could be a home run pick. Yeah, not Barry. Great to elite speed though. Great to elite acceleration. And if he starts eating a balanced breakfast, I could see him be, even better down the line in his career. Even though he's probably a Hall of Famer in the first half. But I think there's some legit pass rush talent in this draft I'm pretty excited about. I'm just looking for the combination between, really great pass rusher and really great athlete. That's when you find the special players. And I'm just not sure that I'm getting those, which is okay. Another great to elite speed guy on the defensive line. It's funny, I'm going through and I'm basically, favoriting all of these different players because I think there's a real chance that a lot of them are good. Andy Lafferty, not strong enough? I don't know. I mean, I got to get over that. They could still be good even if they're not like elite or great strength. Maybe a diamond in the rough here, Deontay McClain. Round 3 to 4 right guard. He looks better than the draft position or draft projection, I'll tell you that much. And same thing can be said for Johnny Tucker, 6'3", 319. A little bit bigger than some of the centers you see in these draft classes sometimes. Seems okay. This tight end looks awesome down the board. Amir Ginn. He's got a run block, which is higher than I would expect. He looks like he could be sweet. They are not making my decisions easy for me. I don't really need tight end, but good players are good players sometimes. But I would probably avoid another tight end with Darren Waller. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be another interesting draft. I'm just not sure what to do yet, but it's still early. My focus scouting is going to be outside linebacker because I think there's some really good rush linebackers, and maybe I'll look at the defensive ends individually. Players ready to negotiate: Josh Jacobs, Bilal Nichols, John Simpson. Not a bunch of good players though. Jacobs, I do want long term. He's just got to sign. I'll give you a little bit more money. He's still only 25 years old. He's a 90 overall. Josh Jacobs is back long term. I think it was something that had to happen. He's just too good. And then Bilal Nichols. Yeah, long-term deal for him too. It's a good fit for us. Your interest not being met here. You have max interest in the team. What do you mean interest not being met? It's wrong. You're wrong. I don't know what he's talking about, interest not being met. I'll up the bonus. And Bilal Nichols is back. Weird negotiation. John Simpson doesn't really want to be here, and I'm not going to say the feeling is mutual, but it kind of is. Like, if I have to start John Simpson, it's not the worst thing. He's young. He's developing, although slowly. Focus players will be important here. There's 17. Devontae Howard has A block shed, A power moves, B finesse moves. Not the freakiest athlete ever, but I think he's exactly what I'm looking for. Devontae Howard, I like a lot. I might make him a focus player just to see how good he actually is. And I kind of know he's good. Actually, I'm going to go Jalen Harris. I'm going to go Larry Bonds. And do I want to know how good the tackle is? I don't know that we're going to be able to draft him. I want to know Tyrone Watkins. Those are my three. Larry and Jalen Harris. Let's do it. Did not make the playoffs, but did better. 7-10. Kind of shocked that we did it so poorly overall. I thought we would take a bit of a jump this year in the new playbooks. Unfortunately, it was not to be. Derek Carr, his numbers got worse. Rushing, Josh Jacobs was better, though. More yards, more touchdowns, higher yards per carry. No complaints. And I wonder, was Tyrone Coleman in the slot? Devontae Adams didn't produce at all. Darren Waller certainly did. Big benefit of KC Playbook is throwing to the tight end, and when you have a really good one, it's going to work out. But Devontae Adams was not really an impact player, and Tyrone Coleman really didn't produce the way I expected him to. I think probably short route running and medium route running as my slot contributed to that, but I wanted him to get a bunch of targets. So I don't really regret it, but Devontae Adams is going to be doing that in the future. And then defensively, BJ Sweeting had 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 127 tackles total, 106 for Hobbs and McClain. I see that Max Crosby went off. Bilal Nichols, 15 TFLs and a sack, 14 for Crosby, and as you can see, 23.5 sacks, which led the team. Brown with 4, 3 for BJ Sweeting. Cortland McClain had 4 interceptions too, 3 for Hobbs, 3 for Merrick, and only 1 for the rookie Dalton Redmond. This was a really good year to build, though. I'm pretty happy with the numbers that we saw overall from some of the younger players. I think the linebackers are going to be looking really, really good. I think just our young players are going to be obviously the core of the team. Giants were in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Okay. I am a Giants fan. And Devontae Adams went down from superstar X Factor to only superstar as he's starting to regress a little bit. But is still a 99 overall. All right. The center has superstar Dev. So that makes that an excellent draft pick. Did not get it. Had it, by the way. So that is a really awesome draft pick. Of course, giving Devontae superstar X Factor back because I have Dev trait regression turned off. And they do it anyway. The rookie receiver, by the way, did not get upgraded to star Dev because he didn't play that well. Wow, okay. Defensively, I thought Sweeting would go up to star Dev. Did not happen. But Cortland McClain has superstar X Factor and had superstar when we drafted him, but was upgraded to superstar X Factor. So our picks down the board were amazing in this past class. We had a center with superstar Dev, and we had an outside linebacker who we took earlier than we had to, by the way, with superstar Dev. Ends up being superstar X Factor after the year. Doesn't really get a whole lot better than that. That is a really, really good draft. I know they weren't super crazy high rated or anything, but I am really, really thrilled with how that draft went. Ability-wise, I think Selfless isn't the worst idea because I'm sure Max Crosby has superstar X Factor now, so getting him in the zone would be pretty good. Only superstar after putting up 23.5 sacks? How is that possible? Led the NFL in sacks, won Defensive Lineman of the Year, won Defensive Player of the Year, and didn't get upgraded in Dev Trait? Feels stupid, I'm going to be honest. Feels really dumb. Give him run stuffer. I don't really know. I still don't think that it really does much in simulation anyway, so it's not really a big deal. And of course, the corner we drafted number 3 overall, moving back to safety, only had a star devil. Check out the season recap, though. Chiefs over the Giants. Patrick Mahomes wins MVP of both the Super Bowl and the regular season. Alvin Kamara, Offensive Player of the Year. Max Crosby, Defensive Player of the Year. Cortland McClain, we know, won Defensive Rookie of the Year. And Glenn Bushrod, the receiver drafted by the Chargers, is your Offensive Rookie of the Year. There's really going to be nothing here in players ready to re-sign. We looked at it earlier. I mean, John Simpson, but he's not interested. Amik Robertson, but I'm not interested. Brett Rippon is interested, but I'm not. Justin Jefferson, Justin Herbert are here in free agency. No one's interested, though. Why? Well, I don't care. I'm going to offer some of these guys anyway. I'll overpay if I have to. And I would be up to change the scheme. I might say, hey, we'll fire the OC, change our scheme to fit whatever Justin Herbert wants. I mean, am I even going to be able to draft Dom Silas? Is that even going to be an option? Got great throw power. He's quite accurate, not amazingly so. I'm conflicted. Larry Bonds is a finesse move. Once again, I don't know what I'm going to do in the draft. It's a good problem to have, though, because a lot of really, really good-looking players. And, I mean, this is, I think, a real-life draft problem when you're picking high is, like, who do you take? I know he's not a crazy athlete or anything, but I just like the look of Devontae Howard. He's got B for everything and then A for power moves and block shed. I like that. I'd have to trade up to number 1 probably to get Dom Silas, who Derek Carr might be better than year 1, even though he is still regressing. That's what you have to keep in mind. That's what you have to keep in mind, is that he is getting worse. I can't do anything about that. He is getting worse, and I'm going to have to replace him because he's going to be like a 75 overall next year, and it's not like it's going to magically jump up to an 85 the next year. No, he's as good as he's ever going to be right this second. All right, Herbert, now more interested in the team. And it's like all my money, but he is a franchise difference maker. I don't know, man. Like, is it even a possibility, really? We could get him, but I have no money to get anybody else. And I need other players. Like, Jed Wills is a huge upgrade. Michael Onwenu seems like he wants to be a Raider. Mekhi Becton's here. That's actually a better fit than Jedrick Wills for me. Yeah, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to pull my offer from Justin Herbert. I know, but I'm going to use that money on building my offensive line for whoever the next quarterback happens to be. And it's going to be 2 guys that, just like me, hate state income tax. And that's their biggest thing, if you look at it, which is kind of funny. Mekhi Becton and Michael Onwenu both say, no, we're not paying extra for our home game. So I like to see that. And it's really not expensive to get Mekhi Becton. He's super interested. And hopefully these guys sign on early. We need to keep a little bit of money. We do. As far as the pass rushers go, I mean, Montez Sweat really going to be tough. I don't really want Zach Seiler. Rashawn Gary's quite good. Is not really interested. And same thing on the other side. So I think we're just going to be offering these 2 guys, Michael Onwenu and Mekhi Becton. And hopefully we can bring them both in. Mekhi Becton has signed. That's huge. Onwenu, please, has signed. 2 huge additions to our offensive line. And yeah, now Derek Carr has a little bit of help. We're rocking with him. Another no state income tax player, Albert Okwuegbunam. I would love to bring him in. It just has to be for less money. So you accept that. I need a backup tight end. Okwuegbunam is a good fit. Justin Jefferson has not received an offer so far. Okwuegbunam is not signed on yet. Justin Jefferson, I mean, it's a lot of money. I'm going to lowball the absolute hell out of him. You don't have one offer. So I would offer him this contract. He's not interested in it. And I don't care. And now the Falcons have jumped in. Okwuegbunam signed on, which is nice. I think I'm going to use Dom Silas as a focus player. I just have to know how good he is in relation to the rest of the class. Just have to. All right, so here we are at number 12 overall. I'm interested to see whether or not he is a top 5 talent. Dom Silas is round 1 to 2. I used this focus period on only finding out true talent. So I took 3 players that were at 65%, bumped them up to 100 with the focus player. Silas is middle of the first round, which depending on the strength of the class could still be pretty good. Devontae Howard is middle of the first round. And Deontay McClain, the right guard, who I thought was actually pretty good down the board, is in fact round 1 to 2. So kind of 74 overall-ish, which is pretty good, but we also have a 74 overall right guard, as it is in Dylan Parham. So I'm not really interested in taking him. Maybe down the board, it's an option if he's got like Star Dev or something, which I think is actually likely. But now I have the tough task of deciding what I want to do in this draft. I don't know. I could be pretty happy with a round 1 to 2 guy. He's just a whatever athlete who's strong. He's just average. But, I mean, is just very good. A block shot, A power moves. Seems great. But if he's not that great of an athlete, that's something you can never really improve on. We are projected to have the #1 overall pick next year, which seems rude. But I'm going to use that to my advantage. I am trading that to the Commanders. And I am acquiring the #3 overall picks. Bucks at #1 go with Larry Bonds. All right, he's off the board. And then Ben Morton at #2 goes to the Jaguars. So here we are at #3. We have the option to take the quarterback if we want to go that direction. And I'm not sure it's the worst decision in the world. He's definitely good. Definitely good. And round 1 to 2 talent, take that with a grain of salt for the quarterback position, because usually they're just lower rated anyway. If you get a 75, 76 overall quarterback, that might be middle of the first round talent, or round 1 to 2, maybe he's a 73, 74. That's still not really that bad, especially if they have a good development trait. His accuracy is good. I'm struggling to realize why he is a low overall. B deep, B medium, A short accuracy. I would say that's quite solid. A break sack, A throw on the run, A throw under pressure, A trucking, A awareness, all good. Physically, he's got a great arm. He's got really good speed, elite change of direction, and acceleration. I've talked myself into it. I'm going Dom Silas here. Hidden Dev, we know his overall is not going to be crazy high, but 90 acceleration, 84 agility, 93 change of direction, 83 speed, 93 throw power. He seems pretty awesome. I don't know. John Moore goes at #4. There goes Tyrone Watkins. We pick at 12, and we pick at like 26 or something like that. Still desperately need an edge rusher. I think it's going to have to be a trade up. Jalen Harris only has B finesse move. I think I'm going to take Devontae Howard. He just seems good. I know it says his overall's low. Do I care about it? I mean, I do a little bit, right? But he just seems really good. Maybe he's around 1 to 2 talent for an outside linebacker, but maybe he's better as a true defensive end with that block shedding. Yeah, I'm going to take him. I'm trading up. I'm trading #12, a 4 and a 4 next year to move up to #6. And I think it's going to be worth it. It might not be the highest overall player, but I know that going in, I can't be disappointed. Because when I see Devontae Howard, see 6'5", 270 at outside linebacker, A block shedding, B pursuit, B tackle, I don't get how he's going to be bad. I don't understand it. I'm taking him. He's got hidden dev, which is a good start. Only 81 speed, 80 strength, and he's going to be playing defensive end, but 86 acceleration, 81 agility. He's good. He's a good player. And there is a tackle that looks pretty good, but keep in mind, we don't need a tackle at this point. Don't need him. Could take a guard. We're at the back end of the first round. I could turn this into a first-round pick next year, recoup that, and we still have a second-round pick, I think. So, you know what? Amir Ginn is available. I like the look of him. He's round 2 to 3 projection. I thought he was a first-round guy. Yeah, I think I'll take him. Not here, though. I'll not trade down. We're at this point in the rebuild. Why would I bother? I'm going to go Deontay McClain, guard out of South Carolina. Round 1 to 2 talent. It's pretty good. It is here in the first round, though. I'm going to trade down. So many good players. Like, I want the defensive tackle here, Andrew Johnson, as well. Would be a presidential pick. Did I just take Deontay McClain? I want the tight end because it's going to be fun. And Max Rhodes, I think, is going to be a really good value pick down the board. I might trade back up for that. What do? I don't need the guard, but if he's better than Dylan Parham... No, I'm going with Dylan Parham. He might be worse. I don't care. I'm going Andrew Johnson with this pick because I think he's going to be really good. I know I have 2 good defensive tackles already. Don't care. 95 strength. At 6'3", 320. 75 speed's pretty good as well. We know he can rush the passer. Like that pick. And I'm taking Amir again. Just purely on the basis that he looks like a really good player. And that's fun. Elite. Everything in there except for strength and change of direction, which change of direction is great. And strength is decent. And he looks like he run blocks great. Deep route running, spectacular catch. Amir Ginn, welcome to the team. 89 speed. 85 jumping, 90 acceleration. Gotta take him. And Max Rhodes, by the way, round 3 to 4 projection is available in round 5. It's a no-brainer. No-brainer for me. Even if he's not great, normal dev. He had, I think, poor acceleration or poor agility, but it doesn't really seem that bad. I don't see a way that that's a bad pick. Draft recap. What do we have here? Interesting. Okay. So Rhodes is actually only 65. I thought he'd be a lot closer to a 70. I'm a little bit surprised by that. He had B finesse moves. I guess it's 71 for an outside linebacker. Doesn't look bad, though. Keep in mind, he's not a starter, was never going to be a starter. Devontae Howard is only a 73 overall. But, I mean, you can see everything on there. He looks really, really good. So I'm a little bit confused as to how that's so low. He's going to play left end for me. We have Max Crosby at right end. I think his overall is going to go up a little bit. I don't know how it wouldn't. Goes up 1 to a 74. Silas is the interesting one, though, because he's a 74. Rookie. He's got good accuracy. He's got good athleticism. What is bringing him down? Is it just awareness is not super high? I really don't know what it is. Play action? I don't think that really impacts much. The thing I'm concerned about is oblivious sense of pressure and aggressive forcing passes. That's going to be not great in simulation, I don't think. So a little bit worried about that. Andrew Johnson's a 76. The tight end down the board is a 76. This is our next Darren Waller. I am curious about how good the right guard is that I did not take, which we knew he would be good. He's a 74. I think I predicted that. Only normal dev, though. I'm glad I didn't take him because that's just Dylan Parham. I would have been disappointed. So we have a lot of good depth at a bunch of different positions. Howard's going to start, of course. And the big decision is, do I go with Derek Carr? Or do I go with, what's his name, Dom? Yeah, do I go with Derek Carr or do I go with Dom Silas? Silas gives us potential for the future. And Carr maybe gives us the best chance to win right now. Sometimes I do stuff like this and new people in the comments get on me. Like, why would you draft a quarterback? Now you're not even going to play him? It's like, that is a thing that happens, though, in real life. We want to emulate some realism at times, right? And sometimes, quarterback, they get another year to start before the rookie takes over. Why did I take the tight end? That was just because it was fun. Just a good player. Starter, Johnson's really good for depth. Get a really good third defensive tackle. Linebacking core is good. Specialist-wise, Howard and Crosby as rush players. Johnson's actually going to be a rush player over Derek Nottie. I do want to change sub-linebacker. Maybe just make it Jayon Brown and McLean. Devontae Adamson's slot. We're good. We're good. So we're 5-2. Very, very different than the previous couple of seasons, which is nice for us. And obviously, I went with Derek Carr as the starter just to get, one last hurrah with him before we give it over to Dom Silas, which I think some might be disappointed about. But, man, it's the Raiders rebuild. I want to get things going with Derek Carr. It's unlikely to happen at this point. Howard does have star development. Not really a big surprise there. Won't know the tight end for a while. And won't know the quarterback for a while, too. Hunter Renfrow does not want to re-sign. A lot of these players don't. Trayvon Merrick will get a contract extension. He wants to be here. I want him here. No brainer. Anthony Averett for an extra year. We'll bring him back. Hunter Renfrow is already 28, by the way. He wants a franchise quarterback. He wants in the Super Bowl chase. I think that's going to change because we're going to be in the Super Bowl chase. So we'll wait for him on the end of the season. Probably same deal with Nate Hobbs. He wants a mentor at the position. I can make that happen in literally a second. Mentor Xavier Rhodes, welcome to the Raiders. You could be on a potential Super Bowl winning team here in year 3. And we did go 12-5. Unfortunately, the Broncos went 13-4, leaving us playing in the wild card game. Don't like that. Would prefer the first round bye, of course. Derek Carr had a better season than last year, I would say. 4,500 yards, 33 TDs, 10 picks. Rushing, Josh Jacobs keeps getting more yards and more touchdowns. Really, really good stuff from him. Receiving, Devontae Adams. Yeah, this is a very good season. This is what we wanted. 99 catches for about 1,800 yards, 20 touchdowns. Didn't really leave any touchdowns for anybody else. The Fresno State connection with he and Derek Carr alive and well as Merrick led our team in tackles with 107. Tackles for loss, we have 24 for Crosby, 18 for the rookie Howard. I didn't even see him on tackles. I go, oh man, he didn't play that well. Couldn't be further from the truth. Max Crosby put up 18.5 sacks. He put up 15. Probably will earn him superstar development. He'll be going up into the 80s before long. Just looks like a really good player. It's not shocking to me that he's performing well. Interceptions, barely had any. See if we can beat Tennessee. They're only an 82 overall, but these are the games you got to watch out for. We win by 4. And now, of course, we have to play the Broncos at Mile High. Always a tough matchup. They're also an 82 overall, but they're a team you have to be worried about. They won 13 games for a reason, clearly. But we have some upgrade points that might help us going into this. See if we can do it. Raiders, Broncos. We're going home early, 33-21. But that sets up a triumphant final season. We got the contract extension. Love to see it. And we got a lot of momentum right now. I think we'll be able to re-sign Hunter Renfrow. He should see we're a legitimate Super Bowl contender now after winning a playoff game. Ravens beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl MVP was Mack Wilson. Deshaun Watson wins MVP. Jesus Christ. Cooper Kupp, Offensive Player of the Year. Aaron Donald, Defensive Player of the Year. Joe Conway, quarterback of the Chargers, replacing Herbert, is your Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year was our very own left end, Devontae Howard. I would bet that he goes up to Superstar Dev now, Devontae Howard. So this is good. We had a good draft. We've been doing well in free agency. We actually have money. As nice as it would be to have Justin Herbert, it really wasn't an option for us. Ginn has Star Dev. Silas has Star Dev. Carr is playing up past him in terms of overall, but is not better. He's down to a 73. He regressed again. Big time. Merrig is up to Superstar X Factor, as is Max Crosby. Love that. But Devontae Howard, I like to see it. He is up to a 79. We'll be an 80 overall with Superstar Development. Power moves could be better. Block shedding is already into the 80s with morale, but it's not into the 80s by itself. So I'm going to do Run Stopper. And then Power Rusher will be upgraded by the CPU throughout the year. +2 block shedding is nice because that gets him up to an 80 by default, or flat 80. And he should be an awesome player going forward. He was great in year 1. Expect him to take another step up in year 2. Hunter Renfrow still not interested in staying with the Raiders. He wants a franchise quarterback more than anything. But I don't know why the other things have no impact on him. Doesn't really make any sense to me. This is the Raiders rebuild. I got to re-sign Hunter Renfrow, one of the league's best route runners, and he returns. Not going to bring back Jayon Brown as he's 30 now. Nate Hobbs, he lost the mentor from Xavier Rhodes because Xavier Rhodes retired. So that kind of defeats the purpose there. I am going to give him money, though, to bring him back. He's a big part of our team. And Nate Hobbs returns. We basically have no money, though, which, is unfortunate. It's not the worst thing in the world because we could sign somebody. I might have to just re-sign Jayon Brown. Let me take another look at this team. So we have 16 million. I could use an upgraded linebacker. It may just end up being Jayon Brown, which that's okay. Yep, Jayon Brown's going to be the guy I offer, which I thought that it might be. Just obviously not number 1 on my list. Yeah, so our defense looks great and developing. Our offense, I would say, also looks great and developing in some spots. Silas will start a quarterback this year. Probably not going to draft another one. Should be a little bit too crazy. There's some pretty good corners in this class. Marquez Givens here has a zone. Not the best man player, but has elite speed, which is a rarity at corner. You don't see that too often in my experience this year. And DeAndre McKinney also has it. Elite speed at corner. A man, a zone. I'm going to draft a corner. It's unbelievable. I'm trading. Oh, that's actually declined. That's all right. I'll trade a 2 this year and then a 1 and a 3 next year to move up to 3. I know it's a lot to move up, but I think it's going to be really fun to take that corner. And I'm actually going to trade up again with the Bucks just to make sure we can get him. I don't think he's going to go at number 1 overall. But again, I want to make sure I can get that player. And it's not going to cost anything to move up from 3 to 2. I'll add a 6 and a 7 to get it done. So we'll move up 1 spot and make sure we take that corner. Just because it's one of the best looking corners I've probably seen in the game this year. So it's got to be done. DeAndre McKinney, Florida State. Also, is this Deion Sanders? Is this who it is? How tall was Deion? Probably about 6'1". 6'1", 198 pounds listed. This is Deion Sanders. Florida State corner. A-man, A-zone. Only B press, but A catching. Elite speed and acceleration. It's Deion. I'm taking Neon Deion. DeAndre McKinney, welcome to the team. 97 speed, 94 acceleration. This is a generational player. I would bet anything. 92 change of direction with A-man and A-zone. B press, pretty good. Yeah, it's your lockdown franchise corner. He's a beast. I think guaranteed generational player. Guaranteed superstar X Factor. He's an 83. That's generational range for sure. He's a beast. 83 man-to-man, 84 man, 80 zone. Good agility. The only thing that would make him better is higher press, but has unbelievable speed for a corner. He's already the 31st ranked corner. That's the top 9% of all corners. So he is unbelievable. See the rest of the class here. Givens is a 79. He looked good. Elite speed is 95 for him, but he was just clearly a guy that is more of a zone player than man. I would probably consider moving him back to safety and just having big time speed at that position if I had drafted him, but you know, was never going to draft him with this corner on the board. And keep in mind, top 3 players, all corners. Top 4, all DBs. And in the top 5, another corner. Or top 6, I should say. Because there's a running back in here. So, wow. Amazing player. And you're, oh, man, you don't need a corner. We had Anthony Averett playing meaningful snaps. So it's going to be Nate Hobbs, Rakusin, and DeAndre McKinney. That's a really good group. That is a playoff caliber Super Bowl winning group of corners potentially. McKinney's an 82 overall safety as well. Obviously, not going to be playing him there. I like my linebackers. I like my defensive line a lot. My corners are awesome. Specialist-wise, I guess we'll play him as a slot corner. I guess he'll get targeted against certain teams, so that's fine with me. I'm going to play Sweeting over Jayon Brown, Howard, Nichols, Johnson, and Crosby. Works for me. And then offensively, I'm starting Silas. He is a higher overall than Derek Carr, and he actually has the potential to get better, whereas Derek Carr does not. 4-2. This is likely the final season, so I need to see some success from this team, and we're seeing it. DeAndre McKinney, guaranteed superstar X Factor. I bet anything. Superstar. Whoa. A good thing I didn't put a true anything on that. He's not generational. He's just the highest tier generator you can possibly get for a non-generational player. Wow. Because remember, generational players are guaranteed to have superstar X Factor. You just got +1 speed. Overkill, I think, going to 98. But superstar X Factors are, you can get them throughout the entire draft, right? But they're guaranteed for a generational player. He does not have superstar X Factor. 0 skill points. Okay, I don't know why that's showing like that. Weird. I'm shocked. Still good, obviously, but that's crazy to me. That is absolutely crazy. Playoff time. Be shocked if we didn't get in. We're 11-6, but playing in the wild card. A little bit disappointing. And Dom Silas had a pretty good second year. First year starting, remember. Already better than Carr. I probably should have had him starting in season 1. 4,500 yards, 42 touchdowns to only 9 interceptions rushing. Josh Jacobs had a career year with the quarterback change. And then receiving, Devontae Adams still great. Darren Waller, great. 10 touchdowns for Renfro. Tyrone Coleman was all right as well. And then defensively, Courtland McLean, 129 tackles led the team. I'm seeing some crazy numbers here. 16 tackles for loss, led the team for Bilal Nichols. And then 29 sacks for Max Crosby is just ridiculous. That, of course, led the team, probably led the league. 15 sacks for Devontae Howard. He's consistent. And then 3 picks for Nate Hobbs led the team as well. Now, McKinney is already up to an 87 overall, 88 overall with morale. Sick player. I'm just so surprised to see him not have superstar X Factor. How is he not generational? I have no idea. Like, going into the offseason, I think there's a realistic chance that he is playing up to a 90 overall. We're going to jump in here. I know it's the wild card, but I want to be able to jump in against the Ravens if we have to. We are better overall. We're 90, they're an 88, but that doesn't mean much in Madden Sim sometimes, or a lot of times, and in real life it wouldn't either, right? But it's very close. I'll jump in if I have to. Hopefully I don't have to. Hopefully it's just a win, but we're down 7 already. 7-7, 14-7 Raiders. Ravens tie it up, and it looks like they have the football, and we'll score again with a field goal. 17-14 now into the second half. We're going to take the lead 21-17. Defense playing well, offense playing even better. It's 35-17 Raiders. Ravens not out of it yet, but a touchdown from the... I don't know what I'm even saying with Raiders versus Ravens. They're too close. It's too late. Either way, the Ravens are going home. The Raiders are advancing onward. 346 yards and 4 touchdowns for Dom Silas. Josh Jacobs was awesome. And then receiving, Drake London is on the Ravens now. What a good player he is. But Devontae Adams, 3 catches for 111 yards. Tyrone Coleman, 2 for 99. Big plays. Big plays are the story of this game. 2 73-yard catches. Adams and Coleman. Wild stuff. We're going to the divisional. Bills, an 85 overall. Josh Allen didn't look like he had superstar X Factor, which is interesting. Of course, playing on the road here because we didn't win our division. Right? Is that true? Or was that last year? I don't know. Bills on the board first, but we answer right back with a touchdown. Bills do the same as they take a 10-7 lead here in the second quarter. That's big points for us, though. It's a 14-13, now 16-14. Buffalo switches up. We get back in the end zone. Buffalo does the same. It is a high-scoring affair here, 24-24, and a late field goal from our Raiders puts us on top. We are up by a field goal, a minute and a half to play. Allen going to try and lead the Bills down the field and to score a game-winning touchdown. Field goal will tie. 3rd and 8. Pretty big play, but 4-down territory, of course, for the Bills, and it will have to be. That pass is batted away, and this is 4th and 8. Game on the line for Buffalo. It's game over if Josh Allen can't convert. And he's going to sling it towards the sideline. Stephon Diggs catches it and is short of the line to gain. McKinney in coverage. Our offense will take over. All Buffalo can do is call timeouts. It doesn't matter. The game is over. It was read option and not inside zone. That would have been... I didn't realize that. Why is there a hold here? Why are we holding Dylan Parham? That is the only thing that could have kept Buffalo in the game. It's actually pretty unbelievable. It was the only way that Buffalo would not lose. We're going to the tight end, and that is Buffalo's final timeout. They got a free one on the holding. Well, we have to run the ball here. Don't really have a choice because we need that clock to tick. We're going to go ahead and let this tick down to, what is that going to be, 16 seconds or so? A little bit more than that. And we'll try to pin them as deep as we can. It's a sky punt. Don't really want to snap this too early. And that is a beautiful punt. A lot of hang time, good bounce. It's out at the 7. Buffalo is 13 seconds. A Dylan Parham hold could cost us the game. Allen under pressure. What is he doing, dude? He wanted to take a safety, I guess? This might be the final play of the game. 7 seconds to go. From their own 7. Somebody get after Allen. He's just not getting rid of the ball. I hit him so late. Diggs catches it. Diggs is tackled. And that is the ball game. Raiders advance. Bills going home. Only a touchdown for Silas. Devontae Howard going up to an 87 overall with morale. +2 power moves. And remember, he is a superstar now, so he's going to go ahead and get another ability, which is kind of nice. Patriots are they're 13-4, but they're an 84 overall. They have Michael Thomas, they have Aaron Donald. What is this Patriots team? Rain coming down here at Gillette here in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Will that favor the Patriots? Maybe. That's all I got. Maybe it will make an impact. And it seems like it is. We can't score. Finally a touchdown. 7-3, now 10-3. Patriots getting right back with a field goal. Seems like they're going to be field goal offense. Finally a touchdown for them, but it's 24, now 19 here in the second half. 31-19. Our offense is doing a really good job of finding the end zone consistently, but the Patriots are just not going down without a fight. 41-33 will be the final. Patriots just couldn't do enough. Our offense just kept on scoring, and the Patriots, okay, I guess we're going to be back to the main menu. This happens sometimes in Giants franchise, but their offense, they kept trying, but they were a second behind each time. It was like always a move late. We just kept on scoring, and they got off to too slow of a start, too little, too late, and our offense, I think, really carried us in that game. Cortland McClain will be up to a 90 overall, by the way. And this is the clear difference between a generational or near generational player and just a very good draft pick with superstar dev off the bat. It's cool. He's, into his third year now. As you can see, 2 years of experience. He is a 90 overall. Very nice, but just a really great player. And then like the near generational player, DeAndre McKinney. Can't believe he doesn't actually have the generational tag, but he's an 87, nearly an 88 overall, playing up to an 88 overall, of course. It's insane for a rookie to be quite that good. But as you can see, this is the final team. Silas is playing into the 80s, which is nice. Upgrade-wise, I don't really see anything here. Oh, you know what? Sweeting is up to star dev. Saints are an 84 overall to our 91. They've got Kamara. They've got a superstar X-Factor tight end, Mike Terry, with Vanguard. I don't even know what that does. That's an X-Factor ability I've never seen. Bobby Wagner also has made his way down to New Orleans. And hopefully, it's not enough. I'm looking for a Raiders Super Bowl. They've got a new quarterback, clearly. Doesn't look like any quarterback I've ever seen for the Saints. Saints on the board first, but we answer back with a touchdown. Saints answer with a touchdown of their own, and another. It's 17, now 14. 24-14 Saints. Raiders make it a field goal game now into the second half. They take the lead 28-24. End of the third quarter. It's another score for the Raiders, and the Saints are right here. Unfortunately, I couldn't jump in, but I can show you that the game is over. The Raiders are Super Bowl champions. These are always so convoluted and hectic at the end of the game, trying to commentate when like 40 plays are happening in the span of a few seconds. Either way, though, I'm sure you're happy to see this Las Vegas Raiders team are Super Bowl champions. Josh Jacobs. And all it took, by the way, was starting Dom Silas over Derek Carr. Second year on the team, first year starting, and of course, Super Bowl champion. Shades of Patrick Mahomes. Seems very familiar. Although, did Patrick Mahomes win? He won it in his third year total, right? The second year was just his MVP season. I think that's true. Dom Silas had 2 touchdowns to a pick, 2 interceptions for Manny Brooks, not to be confused with former Saints quarterback Aaron Brooks, kind of an underrated player there. 2 touchdowns for Jacobs. Tyrone Coleman had a touchdown, and Diami Brown with the Saints now had a couple of touchdowns. Good for him. Interceptions-wise, 1 for Jeremy Chin, 1 for BJ Sweeting, and 1 for Cortland McClain. Linebacker supremacy here. But that's going to do it for this video, for this rebuild, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This was a lot of fun for me. Hopefully it was for you as well. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already for more videos like this one. And I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.